Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name's Mark Lincoln, and I'm going to be your host for the next few minutes and cover off work part-time from anywhere and earn full-time income. What we have is actually a free 20-minute webinar, and you can find out how to work part-time and earn full-time income through that webinar. So just to explain a little bit about my background, I'm a licensed estate agent, and I've been a licensed estate agent since the 25th of October 2006, so basically 10 years. Prior to that, I was an agent's rep, and what made me interested in getting into the real estate game, I suppose, was my parents. My parents came here with only a small amount of money from England. I was born in England. My mum's Indonesian, and the reason I think that we came to Australia was just to be closer to my mum's parents. If anyone's been to Indonesia or Bali, it's not far from here. Anyways, we moved to an area called South Yarra, and that's a salubrious part of Melbourne. We live behind where Volkswagen is now in Commercial Road, in a street called Hardy Street. So I grew up in 9 Hardy Street, and my parents owned 23 Hardy Street and 24 Hardy Street. They owned 4 houses in Richmond, and then they did a pull down rebuild on a house in Malvern. So that was like a mansion, and it was in House and Garden magazine. So that's how I guess I got into the real estate game. I bought my first couple of properties in the western suburbs in Yarraville and Seddon in about 1993 and 1994 or 95, I think. And basically that made me interested in real estate as a profession. So I had a real estate business that I started in Docklands 2009 and later moved to Toorak in 2012. Anyways, I got attracted to this kind of business through a real estate connection of mine, a property developer. His stay-at-home wife actually contacted me, and basically it appealed to me because of the dynamics of it and how it worked. And basically I got a couple of questions to ask you to work out whether this could be suitable for you. So basically I'll just ask the questions and just answer to yourself. Do you have more month at the end of the money? So when the money runs out, there's still more month left. Have you got caviar taste on a sudden budget? In other words, your upkeep exceeds your income, so you're spending more money than you make. You can't save money and you're slowly sinking, and perhaps it's been a little while since you made your last mortgage repayment, or the car lease hasn't been paid for a couple of months. You're renting at the moment, and therefore you're paying someone else's mortgage. Do you aspire? Do you want to drive a better car or own a better house? Have you been told that you don't have enough money in superannuation? You'd like to extend your house or buy another investment property, but you just can't do it. You've got limited or no time, so you're missing key family events, maybe not spending enough time in your recreation. You want to, but can't give more to your church or favourite charity. You're working harder, but going backwards. You're stressed out, and as a result, your health's getting hammered. Either no money or no time to go on an overseas family holiday, your boss is a tool, and if you had some seed money, you'd open your own business? Do you keep hitting a financial glass ceiling on what you're currently doing? You want to move the decimal point to the right on your bank balance. So instead of 100 there, it turns into 1,000 or 10,000. That's what happens when you move the decimal point. So I do myself, but do you get annoyed when you meet people less smart than you that are making more money than you, or have more money than what you have, and they're not as smart as you are? Lastly, you're oozing with ambition, and you got the wherewithal in being able to generate income, but you just don't have the right vehicle to get you there. So basically, if you answered yes to one or more of the above questions, register your email details, name, first name, last name, and telephone number, and what we'll do is we'll make sure that you get that 20-minute webinar, and afterwards we'll have some time to discuss anything you want to discuss relating to the webinar or relating to the scenarios that I just gave you. All those scenarios that I gave you are scenarios that I've experienced personally myself. So I'm somewhat of an expert on this topic from going through it myself. I'm not in that situation now, but I've got a couple of sons. I've got Isaiah Bartholomew Lincoln, he's 3, and Xavier Elijah Lincoln, he's 5. But when my sons were young, our family went through some pretty difficult times. I went into a receivership in one of my companies. I lost I had a couple of licenses, real estate licenses, and I lost one of my licenses, and some bad stuff happened. I ended up consequently losing around $1 million, and I've kind of recovered. Like I've still got the property that I live in. I've got a few $100,000 in equity. I drive a pretty nice car, paid for it cash, over $200,000 new, a 745i BMW. So I'm not in the situation I was in a couple of years ago, but I understand. Like if you come from circumstances that aren't that great, because I've been there myself. So I think the words empathy, of empathy and understanding for whatever situation that you're in. But register your details, and I look forward to chatting with you on the other end and possibly meeting up. Thanks, and bye for now.